Most bike races are won in a sprint, and sprinting is all about your peak power. Now, while I'm not too shabby at longer time trial style efforts, I'm rubbish at sprinting. I'm about as effective as a T-Rex in an arm wrestling tournament. So, with the help of Wahoo's system, I'm going to do some sprint-specific training in a bid to improve my sprint and peak power. Can we turn this donkey into a racehorse? Can this sloth of sprinting morph into a gazelle-guzzling cheetah? Can I hit 1,000 watts? Let's find out. Now, admittedly, I've not trained my sprint much in recent years. I've been focusing on endurance events, time trials, and riding up mountains where I need to be as light as possible and be good at producing a relatively high amount of power over an extended effort, around 20 to 60 minutes at a time, not 5 seconds or 1 minute flat out. And consequently, my sprint power has waned. I've paid the price for neglecting my peak power output. It's a large part of why I was dropped by my fellow presenters on more than one occasion. And also why in our beginner versus amateur versus pro sprint video, the beginner beat me despite the fact I'm an amateur. While I can do steady state efforts, it's surges in high power that I really struggle with. I mean, my peak power is pitiful, but by improving this, it should make me a much better all-round rider, not just at sprinting, but it should, according to the science, make me better at steady-state efforts too. So, I think we need to see what we're dealing with, what my starting point is. So I'm going to perform some tests, both indoors and out. First, the indoors test, and for this, well, we've teamed up with Wahoo System. If you're unfamiliar with Wahoo System, it's an indoor training app that you can create and tailor training plans in there depending on your goals. And we're going to use the fitness test in the app, which is the 4DP test. Now, I've done this before, but today we're mainly focused on the sprints at the start and the 1 minute max effort at the end to look at what my neuromuscular power is. So let's get to it and see what we can do. Also, look how pale and hairy my legs have become in winter. Can we CGI those? Maybe give me a tan. Anyway, let's go. I feel rubbish. Like, I'm just so rubbish at sprinting. But we'll see what the numbers say in a minute. Oh, well, I gave that my all. I don't know what I did. But what I'm going to do now, before I reveal what the results were, is actually go outside, have a little rest first, and then do a couple of sprints. Because sprinting outside on a real bike is always going to be quite different from sprinting on the indoor trainer. So, right, let's go do that. Whew. Of course, we've come outside to do some sprints and it's raining. Typical. Anyway, to measure my power when I'm doing these sprints outside, I've got the new Wahoo Speedplay PowerLink pedals. Very nice. So, let's see what I can do. See if I can do more power outdoors than I did indoors. Back in the warmth of GCN Megabase, and I've got the results. So on the indoor trainer, I managed a peak power of 865 watts. Yeah, watch out, Mark Cavendish. I'm coming for you. And there was a 5-second average power of 820 watts. Outdoors, I'm pleased to report I was actually a bit more powerful. I managed 920 watts peak power and a 5-second average of 889. So a bit more powerful, but still not quite 1,000 watts, which is sort of my target, I've decided. My 1 minute power wasn't too bad though, 540 watts. Pretty happy with that, if I'm honest, but it's clear from these results I'm no natural sprinter, and I've always been better at those longer, steady state kind of endurance efforts. But there's a lot of room for improvement here, and well, I'm going to see if I can do 1,000 watts, especially if I target this and do some specific training to try and improve at it. So that's what I'm going to do. In a bid to improve my sprinting, I'm creating a program for myself to follow in the Wahoo System app. Now, this can completely tailor the program to you. I'm first going to select sort of what my goal is and how much time I want to commit. And while there isn't a specific program aimed at sprinting, the next nearest thing is criterium racing. So I'm going to select that because it typically features lots of short, sharp sprints, accelerations, anaerobic and neuromuscular efforts. I'm also going to select that I want to do some strength training in the program. And the clever thing is that the sessions that the program naturally includes in your training plan are going to be tailored to you based on the scores that you achieved in the 4DP test, but also where your weaknesses lie. So as you've seen, my sprinting is, well, pathetic. It's going to tailor the sessions that it includes to target that weakness. Pretty clever. The plan features a combination of strength training and workouts on the bike that will target my neuromuscular power. Strength training can be done at home, but I have access to a gym space and I prefer to do it there. Now, according to the scientific literature, doing strength training shouldn't just improve my sprint, but it should make me a better cyclist overall. It's theorised that you are able to increase your anaerobic capacity and therefore increase the amount of time it takes for your muscles to fatigue when doing VO2 max efforts and lactate threshold efforts. Effectively, what you're doing is, by increasing your top end, you're sort of dragging everything else up with it. Now, if you want to see my gains and see if I can hit my target of at least 1,000 watts, then be sure to subscribe, and that way you'll get a notification when part 2 of this series drops. And well, by then, I mean, it's in about a month's time. I'll probably absolutely hench by then. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments section down below, and also any suggestions you have, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.